My parents filed a lawsuit over my house. When I asked, my dad said, "It belongs to your sister," but I showed them every deposit and won in court. Growing up, I learned early that fairness wasn't something our family believed in. My sister Lily got everything. Ballet lessons that cost hundreds a month, a brand new Honda at 16, college tuition paid in full without her lifting a finger. Me? I got a bus pass and a lecture about building character. When I asked for help with community college costs, Dad said I'd appreciate my education more if I earned it myself. So I did. I worked weekends at a grocery store, picked up night shifts at a warehouse, took out loans I'm still paying off. Every dollar I made went toward tuition or rent or keeping myself fed. Meanwhile, Lily posted Instagram photos from spring break trips I could never afford, but I kept grinding, got my engineering degree, landed a solid job, and started saving obsessively. No fancy dinners, no vacations, no new clothes unless the old ones had holes. For 5 straight years, I funneled every bonus, every overtime check, every tax refund into one account, my house fund. When I finally had enough for a down payment, I found a small 2-bedroom condo on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, but it was mine. I called Mom crying when my offer got accepted. She actually seemed happy for me, threw me a little celebration dinner that weekend. Lily showed up late, sat in the corner stirring her wine glass. "Must be nice having that engineering salary," she muttered. "Some of us are still paying off grad school." I tried to ignore the sting. Mom changed the subject quickly. The day I closed on the condo, Dad came by to see it, walked through every room, nodded slowly. "Smart investment if you did it right," he said. I thought that was his version of being proud. 2 weeks later, a process server knocked on my door. Legal papers. My parents were suing me for the house. I called Dad immediately, hands shaking. "What is this?" His voice was cold. "Matter of fact, that house belongs to your sister. Your mother and I discussed this with our attorney. The down payment came from inheritance money that was meant for Lily's first home." I felt like I'd been punched. "What inheritance? Grandma split everything equally. I never touched that money. Every cent for this house came from my paychecks." "You're making this more complicated than it needs to be," he said. "Lily needs that house more than you do. She's been planning for it. You can buy another one later." I hung up and immediately called my bank. Pulled every statement from the last 5 years. Every deposit had a clear paper trail. Payroll transfers, direct deposits, nothing from any inheritance account. When we got to court, their lawyer painted this picture of a greedy daughter who'd stolen her sister's dream. Dad took the stand first, confident and calm. He testified about a long-standing family understanding that Grandma's inheritance money was earmarked for Lily's first home purchase. Mom went next, dabbing her eyes with a tissue. Talked about how much Lily had sacrificed, how she didn't make as much money as me, how unfair it was that I'd used family money to get ahead. She made it sound like I'd robbed them. Lily sat at their table looking wounded, like I'd betrayed her somehow. A few relatives in the gallery nodded along sympathetically. Then my lawyer stood up. She presented a thick folder to the judge. 5 years of pay stubs, every single one. Transfer records showing money moving from my employer directly to my personal savings account. Bank statements with highlighted deposits, each one labeled and dated. Tax returns proving the income. Loan documents for my student debt that I was still paying down. "Your Honor," my lawyer said, "every dollar used for that down payment is documented here. All earned income, not a cent from inheritance." The judge flipped through the pages slowly, then looked up at my parents' lawyer. "Where's your documentation of this family agreement? Any emails? Text messages? Witnesses who can verify these conversations about the inheritance being designated for the plaintiff's daughter?" Their lawyer shuffled papers. "Your Honor, this was a verbal family agreement. The understanding was implicit." "Implicit," the judge repeated flatly. He looked at my parents. "Do you have any written evidence? Anything showing the defendant knew about or agreed to this arrangement?" Dad's jaw tightened. Mom looked down. Their lawyer cleared his throat. "No written documentation, Your Honor, but the family understanding was clear." The judge closed the folder. "I've reviewed the defendant's financial records. Every payment is accounted for and sourced from legitimate earned income. The plaintiffs have provided no evidence of any agreement, written or otherwise. This case is dismissed entirely, and the plaintiffs are barred from refiling these claims." The gavel came down hard, the sound echoing through the courtroom like thunder, and Dad's face turned the color of a tomato as he realized he'd just lost everything. Mom grabbed his arm, but he jerked away, and I walked out of that courtroom with my keys still in my pocket.